Hey, what's good, man? This is Easy Pin Chop Podcast with your one and only host, Glory Boy, back at it again with another exclusive banger, you know. And here I got the one and only Drip Sanchez.
Yes, sir.
Drip Sanchez, man, appreciate you for having me, bro. It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, man. It's an honor.
For sure. Yeah, bro. So before we start, though, before I go ahead and play one of your songs, you could go ahead and just introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you do, and then boom, we could just go straight into it.
Yes, sir. Well, it's Drip Sanchez, Buffalo, New York native. You know what I mean? Born and raised. We right here live beside the Barbershop, Bossed Up Barbershop, 822 Hurdle Avenue. And man, shit, we here.
We here, man. All right, man. So let's go ahead and just play one of your songs. It's called Dangerous, and you got the whole album on Spotify, Apple Music.
Yes, sir. All streaming platforms.
All streaming platforms,
yes,
man. So let's go, man.
Dangerous, give a damn who you with. Trip, my niggas gon' flip. My brother and my God I trust, illuminated I admit. Embedded in my mind, never quit. Used to hustle all night till the sun come up, just to find my rage when a jealous nigga run up. Yeah, I did it cause my kids had to eat, sacrificing every week. Now I'm wearing Balenciaga on my feet, let a God speak. The shit that I be hearing through the grapevine. They say God's favors have a hard time. One of my best friends shortened up his lifeline. Every day I stay strapped trying to save mine. I put an end to it. Took my life, put some paper and a pen to it. All the love and the pain, I attend to it. For real though, I changed my life, but still I got my 9 on me. My 9 on me. I still got my 9 on me. My 9 on me. Niggas hating, they gone. Niggas hating, they gone. And I'm on, and I'm on. Niggas hate cause I'm on.
I ain't a blood or a crip, but I'm banging with them boys in my clique. All the way to Buffalo, straight from London. Rolling with Drip. Homie, we don't give a fuck who you with. Catty's rolling them splits. 40 on me, I stay fully equipped. Travel light before I empty my clip. Model chicks in the studio, sore start feeling my shit. Getting pissed cause they sharing my dick. Now listen fella, I done changed my life cause I love my...
Hey, if you want to hear the whole song, man, go ahead and stream that on Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming platforms.
Sure.
So that way, bro, that song is sick, bro.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Man. We trying to get that joint all the way out to the islands.
That
man.
shit is fire, bro. Yeah. And one thing about me, like, I was born and raised in Africa, so like we do fuck with that UK vibe and everything. And your song kind of give like that flavor, like UK, Afro beats. Hip hop, American hip hop, and so on, bro. And that's legit, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
No problem, bro. And yeah, so first question though, what got you into like music and stuff like that? Because I mean, it's something that I do actually see that you're very passionate about. So like, why had you started?
I always had a love for music. My family always had a strong love for music. My uncle was real big on speakers and amps and all of that. So. Which my mom always played music when she was cleaning up, and then growing up in church, music was always a big factor. I was in choirs and, choruses in school. So things of that such just gave me just a love and passion for music, in which I just wanted to create my own.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. And when did you start, like, doing music? Like, you was like, you know what? Let me start doing music. Like, this is something that I want to do. This is something that I enjoy doing. Like, at what age did you start, like, doing music exactly?
So if I say like writing one of my first songs, I would say probably like 11, 12, I think it more so started off with like poetry, just writing poems and stuff like that. Right. And then it carried into me learning how to, write a verse or writing a couple lines that match up. And then kind of when I got into high school, I used to rap on the back of the bus for people, like literally, they used to be trying to have me like battle rap people and stuff like that. You go in the bathroom and they just want to hear something. So going into like high school is when I kind of really started writing out real music.
Wow. Bro, that song Dangerous, man, I can't stop like replaying it in my head, bro.
Yeah,
it's like that little bit. You know what I'm saying? That shit fire, bro. Yeah, that shit fire. And just besides music though, like you growing up, like where did you grow up at? Like was you like born in Buffalo, or did you come from like a different country, a different state or so?
So no, I'm born and raised in Buffalo, New York. I'm born and raised in Buffalo, New York, and I mean I've traveled other places, you know, ventured into other cities and states, but predominantly I'm, you know what I mean, Buffalo, New York to the fullest.
Oh, that's amazing, bro. And like you ever traveled anywhere like to kind of like get like a different inspiration like in music, like different countries, to kind of like, you know, view different tastes of music for you to at least, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely since I've been on my musical journey, I've definitely ventured into, like I said, other cities and states to try to, you know, push myself and push my music, you know, as far as possible.
Right.
New York City, I went there for a good time. L.A., I moved there for a decent amount of time. Atlanta, you know, I've been to like them popular states, them hubs that you see people coming from, so you try to put yourself in that hub to, you know what I mean, venture off.
Yeah, and you naming LA, ATL, and so on. Which city would you like to like settle in like in the future in order for you to continue your music journey?
I love LA. Like, I love Cali. Like, I feel like I should have been born there. You know what I mean? When I'm out and about, a lot of times people they tell me I look like Nipsey, or they'll say, "Hey, yo, you look like Nip," or whatever. And it's just the California love, just the of course, you know, we from Buffalo, so we got all 4 seasons, so I'm getting tired of snow. You know what I mean?
Man.
It's just the culture out there. I just love the West Coast culture.
Hell
you know?
yeah, bro.
I love the West Coast culture. I love and I feel like it's so many people there that you don't have to, like for Buffalo, you need all eyes and ears on you.
That's it.
I feel like for LA, you know, you could just have this certain group and you could grow off of that. You know what I mean? Because the population is just so big.
Definitely.
And the hip hop culture is so huge, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, I mean, a lot of people usually do blow up, like, in all those, like, LA, ATL, and so on. So, like,
right.
I do get exactly what you're saying right there, because especially, like, in Buffalo, you got to work, I feel like, 10 times harder. Bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you have to work 10 times harder and plus we have less artists here that are top stream artists and so on. So it's less opportunities for like those artists who really got it to kind of like collaborate and so on. So you guys gotta go like outside of the state and so on.
Right.
Yeah. And and I also do see that you got a merch. Appreciate the shirt, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
GVNG, man.
That's the vintage. That's the first shirt.
Yeah. So tell me, bro, what does that stand for? Like GVNG.
So gang stands for unity. All I did was, it touches back on me venturing off into other cities and states to try to do what I can do as far as my fashion line, as far as my music, as far as acting.
Right.
So basically, pretty much, I created gang when I moved out to LA. Like I said, I'm a very big Nipsey fan, and at this time, he was opening up the TMC store, the Marathon clothing store.
Right.
Marathon continues. So going out there, you know, the gang culture is so huge. Like, it's super duper huge. And, I mean, to each his own, but I kind of wanted to create something that everyone could enjoy, no matter where you was from or what you was representing. That's why I took the word gang and took the A out and flipped it upside down. So basically, it's just general gang. I don't care where you from, what color you are, you know what I'm saying, what disease you have, you know what I'm saying, because I really kind of base it off of the cancel culture, because there's so many different stages and colors to each ribbon, you know what I mean, and meanings. Right. So that's where it kind of stemmed from, and then I just took it and put it into the culture that a lot of us can relate to, as far as what we rep, what neighborhood we from, and you know what I mean, what it is, what colors you got. And really, that don't mean nothing, because we really are just one.
We just one, bro, and that's a dope ass brand, bro. Like, especially you just breaking it down and so on, like a gang without even like looking at colors, race, and so on. So we're just all one, and that's really dope. That's really dope. And what got you like? I know you say you was raised in Cali for a little bit of time. So with the gang merch and so on, like, did you ever thought about like a different, like, if you was to be born in Buffalo, I mean, to be raised in Buffalo, did you ever thought about like a different brand like you wanted to start that could also represent Buffalo? Because Buffalo is not really like gang related. Like, we don't have like a lot of
Right.
gang groups. Like, did you have like any other like
Well,
ideas?
well, my first initial brand was NTTW, which is the name of my album,
Right.
which was No Time to Waste. And that was the first brand that I ever came with, which I based that here in Buffalo, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's very big too. You know, Buffalo is kind of like a crab in the barrel type of spot, you know what I mean? Not to downplay anything or whatever, but it's kind of like a lot of people don't see further, you know what I mean? So they just lag off and, you know what I mean, don't realize that the clock is always ticking and Father Time is undefeated. So it's just more so no time to waste meant a lot and still means a lot because, you know, you just still got to get up every day and go get it, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a big line, a big statement, you know what I mean, for my city.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. Like, no time. Yo, time will never wait for you, man. Like,
No.
like just keep going, keep going. Time is limited. Keep chasing your dreams and so on.
Right.
And yeah, like I said, bro, you man of so many talents. You're a businessman. You do music. Plus,
sir.
you also cut hair.
Right.
You know, you're a barber.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
And how did that start too? Like, you going from music, barber, clothing line, and so on. How did all that start?
Well, everything that I basically do stemmed from barbering. Barbering is the trunk of the tree.
Right.
Everything else is the branches. Cutting hair just was something that I ended up picking up. Like my mom always, God rest her soul, she always made sure me and my brother had a haircut, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have rough times, but she was gonna make sure we had a haircut. And we liked nice haircuts. We always had the best barbers in the town. You know, she always made sure that we had an awesome barber that cut our hair. You know, shout out to Big J, shout out to Al, you know, shout out to those barbers, Kenny, shout out to them that, you know what I mean, kept us fresh when we was young.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. So I picked up a pair of clippers to do myself in the house one time, and I feel like it just took off from there. You know what I mean? And I always been able to draw. I had always had good penmanship. So it was just like, I think it was just inevitable. You know what I mean? And then I became more, you know, through high school, I started becoming popular. So it wasn't a problem for, you know what I mean, getting the eyes and ears on me to say, oh, okay, let's give him a try. Right. And I was always outside partying and stuff. So that kind of carried into its own self, and everything else eventually just branched from there.
Right. That's a heck of a story though. Like, I mean, of course, but with the haircuts, man, haircuts it's something very, very special, and especially for us men. As you know, like, women got the makeup, we got the haircuts. You know, so like, you just starting that path, you have changed so many people's lives too.
Right.
And let's tune in. Let's go back into. I actually went to your Instagram, and I did see this one video. You was actually giving back to the community. What did that mean to you? Like, you giving it back to the community, like especially like the one kid that had like an accident when he was young, and then he got hurt and so on. And it doesn't matter what race, like you said. He's a white kid. Let me just say that. And you actually went ahead and took care of him. You know, like gave him like some merch, some football, and so on. How did that mean to you? And what does that mean to you? Like giving back to the community.
Well, one of the passions that I have is being able to do what I can when I can do it. Like, I don't like not being able to help out whenever I can. You know what I mean? We all got our own struggles and stuff, and I realized that. And growing up, you know what I'm saying, I certain things that I wanted that I couldn't get, a certain help that I know that I needed that I didn't receive. Not saying that, you know what I mean, everybody goes through something, but when I do see someone going through a certain situation, or, you know, they got something going on that I feel like I can lend a hand or a finger in, and I try to do that, you know. And you're referring to the kid James, who's from Jamestown, and I just seen his story. And shouts out to, she doesn't even live here anymore, but the newswoman, her name is Marissa Perlman. I reached out to her, and a couple of kids from his school were saying how he was such a big Bills fan. He was a football player, and he basically, you know what I mean, was at a disadvantage now in life. You know, he had a bad accident, car accident, And I wanted to just help him out, put a smile on his face, not for no credentials, not for no recognition. I really honestly did it just because it made me feel good within myself to know that I was able to put a smile on his face. And we rode out there, gave him a signed football by some of the players that I knew, some other signed apparel. We got him some tickets to the game, and I gave him a Bills logo inside of his haircut.
Wow.
And he was super duper happy. The principal, classmates, his fellow classmates, the school, they supported him. They stood behind him, so that let me know automatically he was a good person. So I felt really honored to be able to do that for him.
Yo, bro, shout out to you on that, bro, because trust me, you never really know what a person is going through. You did know, that kid did have an accident, but, mentally, you don't know, if he had a future, especially, him getting in a car accident. You don't know if he wanted to be a football player, he wanted to do this. But then when I did see that story and the way they were able to just tell it on the news, it really touched me, too, because I'm one of the person that I like to give back. Because where I'm from, bro, I'm from Central Africa. I was born in Congo, raised in Rwanda, came to the United States, and there's so many kids who are less fortunate. And just giving back and making sure that if you have more than someone, you give them, let me say you have $2, you give them $1 or 50 cents, it could really change someone's life. Right. And I know that kid, right now, that's actually think about you and look back and
he never gonna forget that. That's and we built a friendship off of that. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like I did that and then I never heard from him again. James Stills hits me up on Facebook.
Wow.
So we stay in contact every so often.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro. That's amazing. Giving back to the community.
Appreciate it.
And so if we was to look at different artists, so let's jump to a different topic though. If we was to look at different artists in your genre, who would you be willing to work with in the future if basically you was to come across them?
As far as major artists?
Yeah, major artists, correct.
I'm anybody. Whoever trying to work. I love music so much, it's so much that I want to try, so much I want to test out, as far as my talents and my gifts. I don't even feel like I've really hit, well, of course I haven't hit a peak of my artistry yet, but I know there's so much more left inside.
Hey, bro. To me personally, bro, with that one song, you have, bro. With that one song, you have, bro. That song is major, bro. Trust me. And I'm going to make sure my cousin is the DJ. I'm going to make sure he play that shit in the club.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. And that's a lot of people's favorites. I feel like that's the single. I never dropped an actual single off the album.
Right.
So I kind of, and when we did that, it was basically to kind of see what could take. This is my first official album. I've dropped albums before, by myself. But once I signed, shout out to my brother, from Arnuma Records. He just created a label. We created a label, Arnuma Records, and Darren McDuffie. And when we did that, we just was basically testing to see what the people would draw to, what the people would like. And if you go on my Spotify, you go on my YouTube, and you go onto my Apple Music or any of my platforms, you'll see that Dangerous is probably the top song. Wow. Because I feel like it's the most general. You know what I mean? And it has that sound. It just has that. The vocals, the lyrics, the melody, that beat.
Little beat with
yeah. So it hits, bro. It definitely hits. You know what I mean? And I'm glad. It makes me proud because I've never had a song that did that. You know what I mean?
Right.
People definitely say, "Oh man, you got talent. You can make music," but it's a different type of feeling when it's kind of not on that level, but it's like Roddy Ricch with The Box. You know what I mean? I know that he had to have that feeling of dang, the whole world love this. So it's just kind of for the few. The twos and fews that love it, you know what I mean? It really just means a lot to me.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. And trust me, bro, in the next month or so, bro, your songs, your artistry, your everything going to take off, bro.
I appreciate that. Blessings, bro.
You just got to keep that foot on the gas, bro. Trust me. Trust me. Yeah, and so we just talked about the artists that you work with, but other than that, what's one thing you want to achieve as an artist? Besides just having people listening to your music, having that large audience, but other than that, what's something else that you always thought about as an artist I want to achieve?
My biggest thing is because I know music and movies. We'll touch on that too. I got the movie to come up You know what I mean? Shouts out to Dave Stanfield and Diggs and everyone that participated, Dre Cash, Michelle Visa. I want my music to resonate forever. You know, I mean, I know all of it won't, but I want certain songs that just people listen to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now. I just don't want my music to ever die. You know, you got your Tupacs, you got your Biggies, you got your Nas, you got your Jay-Z's, you got your Big L's, you got your Big Puns, you know, you got your LL Cool J's, KRS-Ones, you got your Big Daddy Kanes, you know, you got your Ushers, you got your Whitney Houstons, your Michael Jacksons, your Prince. Yep. So those people are like amongst a whole lot of others, but those are people whom their music gonna be played forever. Like it ain't going nowhere. You know, once this recording right here, this ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because once it's put out there, it's out there. We can't never pull it off of the media. Never. We can't never pull it off the radio. We can't never pull it out the, you know, you can take it out the CD player, but it's still gonna always be.
Still gonna always be there.
Always gonna be there, man.
Right.
And that's what I would like to answer that question. I just would love for my music to just resonate forever. You know, for my voice to always just keep floating in the air.
Definitely, bro. And in God's name, it will. You know?
Yes, sir. Blessings, brother. Blessings.
Yeah, and like another thing, like for example, if you was to sign like a record label right now, like let's say, $3 million record label, okay? What would you do with that money, as an artist? Like, what would you do with the like, if you was to sign that record label?
So no cap, I'm not signing no record deal for $3 million. You know what I mean? And I'm not lying. I mean, $3 million to me right now in my life is definitely a lot of money, but it would depend on what am I signing. You know what I mean? Right. Like I don't think that a $3 million deal for me would be healthy. You know, just because of what you see that goes on with these artists. You know how they get treated, and you know that $3 million loan. You know. It's like you already starting off in debt. So it's just, I would just hope and pray that I would be in position to negotiate some terms and conditions in that contract for that $3 million to be able to work for me and not work against me, or don't put me in a position where I got to overwork myself for it, you know, because you got to pay that back 10 times over. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just hope that I would be able to be in a position and have the knowledge to be able to base some good terms on my behalf, along with the labels we have, you know, and then go from there. However, we're going to get in the motherfucking studio and we're going to make some great music and throw some good shows, for real.
Hell yeah. That's true, bro. That's true. Like the money, because a lot of artists, you kind of you do make sense right there, because a lot of artists usually does sign too fast.
Right.
Without actually reading the contract and understanding like the expectations, you know, like how much money they gain in that money, because you know, like with the music now, a lot of artists want to get their masters back.
Right.
Like, you know, like my master will make me even more, like their catalogs, whatever how you call it. I'm not really an expert in music, but with their catalogs, it will cost even more money than just signing a record label.
There you go, because that's how they own you.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, that's how they own you. And when you come into that game, when you come into this game bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know, you start to get frantic once you see that things ain't always what they seem to be. You know, you could have a hot song and you could be a popping artist, you know, like such as an artist like, what's his name, CJ, with the Whoop-Dee song. You know,
CJ.
So, and I, you know, like when the executive of the label, my brother McDuffie, when Duff talks to me, he explains those kind of things to me. Like, yeah, it's hot right now, you know what I mean? And yes, that song probably can keep getting played, but now, how do you keep making forever money off of it? Is it something that you could keep getting shows off of? Is it something that, you know what I mean? Okay, did it bring back the money that they spent on the song, on the recording of the song, on the video of the song? You know, like it's just a lot that comes in with that. And you had those one-hit wonders and those people, you know, who, and a lot of labels be afraid to sign people that make that one hottest song ever, because then it's like, you know, not downplaying anybody, but you have like a young M.A. who comes out with the ooh, and do you think she's ever capped that again? You know, like I remember reading that Jay-Z was afraid to sign Rihanna because that song, that song just was so big. It was like, okay, can she do this again?
Right.
You know, and do this again, because when a label wants you, if they really, really want you and they're not trying to shelf you, they want you to keep creating more.
For the long term.
There you go.
Exactly.
And it's hard to find Drakes. It's hard to find Lil Waynes. It's hard to find 50 Cents and Jay-Z's and people like that who can, you know, get hot and stay hot, or even maybe get hotter, you know? Yeah. And I feel like that's a big thing with labels. And, you know, it's just like if they can't recoup what they need to recoup from you, then it's kind of like you are kind of doing this for no reason.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, bro. I mean, I do it. I get that. That's true. Like, everyone wants someone that's gonna stick for the long run. You know, like
sure.
Ain't nobody want like a one hit wonder and then disappears.
That's a fact.
Nobody want that. Like, that's true. And yeah, so if we was to kind of look into your life right now, like who means the most to you, and everything you're doing, like what's the purpose behind it?
Well, right now, I'll be honest, my best and worst friend is myself right now. Like 2 years ago, you know, I just lost my mom. So since then, my world been kind of like a little everywhere, you know what I mean? And with that, you know, it's just like I'm still trying to get my ground back up under my feet, bro, you know what I mean? And with doing that, it's kind of like I'm only going to be good enough for anybody else or anything else if I get myself together. You know, if I don't get me together, I don't get me right, if I don't balance myself back out, I ain't going to be no good to nothing. I'm not no good to the barbershop. I'm not no good to the music industry. I'm not no good to the movie industry. I'm not no good to my clothing line, my kids. You know, if and when I do get into a relationship with a woman, you know what I mean, I'll be no good if I'm not making sure that I'm good for me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's my motivation, to get me together. You know what I'm saying? Once I get me together, everything else gonna fall into place. So right now, to answer that, yeah, my motivation is myself right now, bro. Just to take care of myself, my mind, my body, get my soul right, you know what I'm saying? And persevere through this unbalanced time, and, you know what I mean, just get it lined up right.
Hell yeah, bro. And I'm really sorry about your mother.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
Stay strong, bro. And I know she's really proud of you because you're a hardworking man. You know, you out here grinding left to right, getting things done, barbershop, music, clothing line, traveling, and so on, bro. And she's looking down on you, bro. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and just one last question. What kind of message would you give to the young kids? Let me say, like, the young kids, like people that are younger than you, and also it could be people that are also older than you, like, to kind of like overcome struggles in life and look up to the better future. Like, what kind of like advice would you give them?
My advice would be, whether it's the loss of a relative, whether it's the loss of a job, whether it's a sickness, whether it's a stab in the back from a close childhood friend, no matter what it is that comes against you, you know, if you fail a test, no matter what it is, you know, it could just be just a stormy time in your life. You have to mature through that storm, though. Not saying things is going to be perfect, not saying that you're not going to get knocked off your square a little bit, but you definitely have to mature. You got to turn whatever loss it is into a lesson and learn from it. You know, you can't let it get the best of you. You can't let substances, you know, alcohol, drugs, or none of that, you know what I mean, cope you for the second, and then now you wake up tomorrow and that shit's still there. You know what I mean? You got to really mature through that, and that's what I really wish that I would have done from the beginning, you know, from that time of loss from my mom. I wish I would have just started maturing more, because I know that I would be a lot further, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay, you know, it's all right. Nobody's perfect, you know, and everybody handles things differently, but you have to mature. You have to get your mindset. You have to get your mind together. You have to put it in your heart that it's about you. It's a you versus you every day. So the longer that you take to mature through these situations, the longer it's going to be to handle those problems, because them problems still going to be there. You know what I mean? The test still going to be there when it comes on that Friday. You know what I'm saying? That friendship, that friendship, you mature through that, because if it's meant, it'll still be there once you get through what you got to get through. You know, right. It's always gonna be another job out there for you. You know what I'm saying? If you lost a family member, they're never coming back, so you have to hold on to those good memories and man, bulk yourself up and say, you know what, I gotta, you know what I mean, beast up and go through this shit and drop your shoulder and run through it. You know what I mean? And you know, like I said, everybody deals with things differently, but my advice would just, you know, mature through your problems, mature through your storms, you know, because if you become more and more immature, that shit just gonna last longer. It's gonna take longer to fix, you know, and that shit still gonna be there. You know what I mean?
All right, bro. Yeah, I heard it from the one and only, you know, DripSanchez, man. Thank you so much for having me, sure, bro, in your barbershop and for actually doing this interview with me. It's a pleasure, bro. Yeah,
for sure, man. I appreciate you having me, man. I appreciate everybody that's going to tune in and that did tune in on my Instagram Live. You can check me out on Instagram, DripSanchez, DripSanchez. You type in DripSanchez anywhere, Google, anywhere. All my music, all my movie stuff. Shout out to Come Up Movie. It's gonna be coming on Tubi and Roku and all that real soon too. Thanks for ESIP having me. Shout out to my barbershop, Bossed Up Barbershop. Shout out to everybody in the shop. Nye, P, Dre, Dave, Duke, Dion. You know what I mean? We got a grand opening coming up in the next couple weeks. Yo, just keep tuning in. Man, come check me out at the shop. More clothing coming soon. You know what I mean? Stay blessed, stay sturdy, and it's gang in this motherfucker. DripSanchez, man. You already know.
We out of here. Let's go.
Niggas hating, they gone. Niggas hating, they gone. And I'm on, and I'm on. Niggas hate cause I'm on.
I ain't a blood or a crip, but I'm banging with them boys in my clique. All the way to Buffalo, straight from London. Rolling with drip.